It's mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. As always, I am your host, Harrison Graham. Use hashtag Bears to get on our next mailbag if you didn't get on this one. Travis Nelson 1 is up first. Should the Bears sign Lamar Miller? The Bears did bring in 4 running backs. I put a community post up on the channel. If you guys haven't seen that, these are the 4 that they worked out. Lamar Miller, Jonathan Williams, Dalyn Dawkins, and Tavien Feaster. Some different type of backs there. Obviously, Tarik Cohen is lost for the season with that torn ACL. The Bears did activate Artavis Pierce to the 53-man roster, but they are certainly exploring other options as well. Now, Lamar Miller hasn't played since 2018, but when he was healthy, when he was with the Texans, he was an above-average NFL running back. Certainly not a superstar by any means, but this is a player we've talked about a couple of times, especially earlier this offseason, about possibly bringing in. I'll be curious to see if the Bears do end up bringing in a running back. I would guess for week 4 the answer would be no, but in the future I could see that happening depending on how the next game or two goes with this current group of backs. Before we get to our next question here, subscribe to the channel. We crossed 12,000 subscribers. I want to get to 15K as soon as possible. By the way, our Eagles channel at Chat Sports has over 13,000. They don't even have a win yet. We got to catch up to those guys over there. Subscribe to the channel. Videos going up every single day here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, Claudia27 using hashtag Bears. What do you think about signing Dez Bryant? He's looking good on Instagram. Guys, don't say a guy looking good on Instagram is a reason why you should go sign somebody. That's like saying, hey, let's give a guy a record deal because he's got a decent SoundCloud career going. Not saying it's impossible, just saying that's not really how it works. Look, this is the reality on Dez. Hasn't played in a game since 2017. The Saints signed him in 2018, and he ruptured his Achilles. And then after he got fully recovered, worked out with the Ravens this offseason, they didn't sign him. So the reality is for Dez, he can keep working out. He can keep posting workout videos from at Skyline High School in Dallas, Texas, or whatever he's getting his workouts in. I don't think it's going to happen. Last 4 seasons, hadn't played since 2017. Hasn't been elite since 2014. That's 6 years ago, guys. Like, the Dez dream is over. Look, you want to work him out? I don't have an issue, but overall, I kind of like this wide receiver core. Yeah, they've had some drops, they've had some bad moments, but you've got a number 1 guy in Allen Robinson. You've got Anthony Miller, who, yeah, he's been up and down, but he's had some big moments. I love the prospect of Darnell Mooney. I think he's been really good and really impressive early on in this season. You don't need Dez Bryant. Again, my rule is always the same. You want to go work him out? You can do it. Same, just like they did with Lamar Miller. Pick one of these guys. If you had to pick, I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. If you want Dez Bryant, type DB. If you want Lamar Miller, type LM. Between these two, I'm going to type LM for Lamar Miller. Poofin next up here on our Bears mailbag. I say the Bears trade for Sam Darnold. I say I'm interested. I'm definitely interested, Poofin. I've heard worse ideas. Trade rumors are starting to circulate around Darnold and the Jets because they, I don't know about you guys, are a disaster. The Jets are an absolute disaster. If they don't beat the Broncos on Thursday Night Football, they might not win a game this year. I think they are that bad. Look, the Jets, if they go 1-15, 2-14, dare I say 0-16, even though it's not all on Darnold, they might move on from him. So maybe they should consider trading him. And while the numbers aren't great this season, they're not great for his career, no one has done worse in trying to build around a franchise quarterback than the Jets have with Darnold. It's a disgrace. They don't give him any weapons. The offensive line has been brutal. The one guy they did bring in, Le'Veon Bell, can't stay healthy, and when he's out there, isn't any good anymore. So they've done a bad job around him. I'm not convinced he could be a franchise quarterback, but he's a guy I'd trade a middle-round pick for and take a chance on. I definitely would consider doing that. Now, we got a big game in Week 4. The Bears host the Colts, and they are 2.5-point underdogs. The Colts are favored on the road in Chicago. By the way, that over-under has fallen 2.5 points. It's all the way down to 43. I like the over in this game, and I love the Bears as a home underdog. And if you guys do too, especially those of you who live in Illinois or are going to be in the state of Illinois this weekend, you can go bet on this game at chatsports.com/betil with Bet Rivers, our new sports betting partner here on Chicago Bears Now. Got to be in the state of Illinois to place a bet, but you can sign up, you can deposit wherever you are. If you have a trip planned in Illinois later this year, go ahead, get deposited. They'll match you up for a 100% deposit bonus, up to $250. Put up down $250, they're going to give you an additional $250 for free. Go bet on the Bears this weekend at BetRivers. Chatsports.com/BetIL. That is the link. You can place your bet with BetRivers right now. Cam IGL, I see Ryan Pace trading up to get Trey Lance or Justin Fields, who would fit in Matt Nagy's offense better, using #Bears, of course. It's interesting because Justin Fields is obviously a little bit more proven, right? He's played in Power 5 college football, had an excellent season for Ohio State. He's certainly mobile, has a strong arm. Trey Lance, though, put up ridiculous numbers at North Dakota State last year. No interceptions, ran for over 1,000 yards, more of a runner than Justin Fields is. What's weird about both these guys is neither's playing right now. The Big Ten doesn't get going until late in October. I think North Dakota State may have like one game scheduled this year. They're supposed to play in the spring. Will Trey Lance even play in the spring? I'm not sure. That's going to be an interesting thing to follow. I think both could do some good things in this offense. I want to see them both play a little bit more of college football, though. And to be honest, though, when you kind of look at the future of the Bears at the quarterback position, Nick Foles, I think, is going to be the guy the rest of this year. Maybe he's your starter next year, but is he your long-term option? I don't think so. He's in his early 30s. Mitchell Trubisky, he's not the answer long-term. They already benched him. I don't think he'll be back next year. Tyler Bray, he's a career practice squad guy. They're going to have to find their quarterback of the future, and we've talked about quite a few young guys on today's show. Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. If you could have any of these guys, who would you pick? Type SD for Sam Darnold, type JF for Justin Fields, type TL for Trey Lance. I'm not going to lie. If I could get Darnold for like a fourth-round pick, I'm very interested because you're going to have to trade up and take Fields and probably even Lance in the top 5 or top 10. But let me know, SD, JF, or TL. Little Chuck using the #Bears. Could Trubisky be a starter somewhere else? Not right away. I think Trubisky needs to take a step back. That's why I actually think this will be an okay thing for his career, to sit back, watch Nick Foles play, watch him operate the offense. His future's probably not in Chicago. He's done some good things in his career. I think at some point down the road he could be a starter again in the right offense with the right scheme. I don't think that'll be in Chicago. I've been wrong before. It's certainly possible, but I think it'll be somewhere else. I think a team like Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense. Go be a backup behind Big Ben for a couple of years. Maybe you can develop and be a starter. What do you guys think, though? Trade deadline in a few weeks. Should they explore a trade? If you think they should, type T for trade. If you think they should just keep him for the rest of the season, type K for keep. I would at least explore trade. Be on the lookout for a trade destinations video for Trubisky coming up on the channel later this weekend. Type K for keep, type T for trade. You got to explore it, right? If you're not bringing him back next year, I explore trade if I'm the Bears. Mystic Dragon using #Bears Now. I love it. Do you think Chuck Pagano is running this defense well? If Vic Fangio gets fired by the Broncos, is it possible that we could rehire him? Sure, it's possible. You can hire anybody that's out there on the open market, right? Like, that being said, I don't think the defense is just falling apart so much without Fangio that, Pagano, get out of here. Let's bring Fangio back. The numbers through 3 games this year, pretty good. Not great, certainly, but the pass rush has been good. Third down defense has been awesome. If you're holding teams to 20, 21 points, you should win most games. Like, in today's NFL, you should be scoring 25 points per game or more. The Bears have been able to win with this defense. The secondary has been really good. The pass rush has been good. It's kind of been that linebacking unit that's kind of been not great. I like what I've seen from the corners. Akeem Hicks has had a resurgence. Khalil Mack's been dominant. I think this defense is still really good. I'd like to see better numbers, but so far, so good. I think Pagano's been fine. Fangio, certainly that defense was better under him, but there's circumstances everywhere. I don't think the Broncos are ready to fire him, although producer Sam, who's a big Broncos fan, says, get the hell out of here, Vic. Let's try something else. We'll see what happens after this season with both the Bears and the Broncos, but is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Not so much. I'm Harrison Graham. We'll see you next time.